Hi guys, and welcome to my review of It Welcome to Derry episode 6. So this episode started off with a flashback to Juniper Hill Asylum during the 1930s. We see Ingrid essentially luring these children, in this case a young girl called Mabel, to basically for the purpose of what it seems of essentially aiding Pennywise's cycle. I really like the aesthetic of this opening as well, because we basically largely get it all shot in black and white. This tends to mirror Ingrid's scrapbook, which is also in black and white. But I really like the aesthetic, and we had this black and white opening. But yeah, when we essentially see Pennywise, and we see, or rather Pennywise's appearance is preceded by the sight of a red balloon, and then we basically have a red balloon in colour against all of this black and white backdrop. I really like the aesthetic and the style of all of that. So we then move on into present day, and essentially we are seeing the characters in a military operation, essentially dealing with the aftermath of their encounter with Pennywise down in the sewers from the previous episode. Leroy ends up hitting his son. We're left to assume that this is the first time he's hit his son, and we know that people who kind of encounter Pennywise can be prone to be more aggressive. We see more of Dick Halloran and how his encounters with Pennywise is basically affecting him. We have a scene in here where he ends up seeing a ghost, but we as the audience don't actually see it. We don't actually see what he's seeing, and I really like that. I really like the idea that we knew that Dick Halloran could see something and was being scared by this, but we as the audience don't know what. On the side of the children characters that we're facing, we see a romance blossom between Rich and Marge. We see Dick Halloran trying to numb all of the hauntings that he's having from Pennywise, and he's trying to use alcohol as a kind of a coping mechanism for this. So this was a nice little throwback to kind of Jack Torrance and the Shining connection. And then we essentially go on to what ends up becoming the finale here, where we basically have Lily finding Ingrid's scrapbook. Here Lily is interrupted by Ingrid. Lily ends up telling Ingrid about the sewers and about Matty, and it turns out that Ingrid is really overjoyed that she's had these encounters. And the reason for this is we basically this ends up kind of bringing the episode full circle back to our black and white opening. We essentially learn that as we knew, Ingrid was Bob Gray's daughter. Bob Gray was the original Pennywise, and who basically ended up being taken over by the entity, and the entity ended up just basically assuming Bob Gray's appearance to scare children, due to Bob Gray being the original Pennywise the clown. So we get all of that explanation. We get a lot more into obviously confirmation and to where Ingrid fits into all of this. During the scene also we have Lily catching sight of the periwinkle costume, also confirming that Ingrid was not only the periwinkle clown that we saw in the 1908 flashback at the fun fair, but we also basically find out through this that she was also the clown figure that the kids saw in the cemetery, and also the one that appeared outside Will's house. This is also a nice explanation into why during at the beginning of the episode following on from their encounter in the cemetery, when they're showing the photographs to the police, that they don't see anything that the children have taken a photo of, apart from this clown figure. And here we essentially learn that Ingrid has essentially been keeping herself based at Juniper Hill to basically prey on these troubled kids and essentially lure them down as these kind of sacrifices to the entity, because she believes that that doing this will basically bring her father back. During her exchange with Lily, we basically see that Ingrid tells Lily that nothing in Derry stays dead, not really, this is basically a nice little throwback to It Chapter 2 when Bev visits Mrs. Kershaw, and yeah. So in short, I really like this episode. If it wasn't for the real exploration that we got into Ingrid and all of that stuff, I would be saying that this was kind of more of a filler episode, because this wasn't, but nothing in this episode was kind of horrific as it's been maybe previous episodes. I mean, I think it's right. I think the way that these episodes are gone, I think it was kind of due. Not a filler episode, obviously, because I don't think that this is what it is, but maybe kind of a little kind of slower, more moderate kind of a paced episode, and this is kind of what we get here, where we do get some horrific stuff, but nowhere near to what we've seen in previous episodes, and this episode just kind of stops to kind of fill in some of the questions that we've been having. Also, I think this episode is basically acting as a prelude to the fire at the Black Spot, which ends up being a section in the Stephen King novel where which ends up basically being a hate crime that members of Derry basically inflict upon the Black Spot. So yeah, that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. Especially seeing as in this series we basically got kind of kids thrown into the mix here during this this fire when this hate crime is carried out. So yeah, that'll be really interesting. So yeah, in short, guys, another really solid episode. And yeah, so yeah, feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see more, don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.